New year, new me. It's bullshit. Why? First, let's remind ourselves what a year means. It's essentially the time it takes for our lovely planet Earth to complete its orbit around the Sun. So you're planning to change yourself at this specific point in time, but the question is, why not at this point or this or that? The point is you're trapped in the mental game. If you want to make a real change and take the leap, the time is always now. You might argue that the calendar is useful for organizing and managing our time, and that's true, but this should only apply to mundane things like planning a trip, meeting someone, doing some activity, or attending an event. But when it comes to the new me, it's not another act, but rather a change of perspective, or in other words, getting rid of the old before creating the new. I think it's an issue for most people. We all know the majority doesn't change shit after the new year because they think change is only by doing this or that. But this is a completely wrong notion. If you don't abandon your old self and habits, then you're not really changing. You're just trying to build something on top of an old rusty foundation that was built for a different character, for an old persona. You might say, but can't we keep the old and improve it instead of abandoning it? Let's be clear again. What you call as myself is basically a bunch of thoughts and impressions that you've accumulated over time. And they get repeated in a cyclical, habitual way. So basically, your self is a type of cycle that you hold onto. The package of thoughts that you identify as me. Once you really become aware of this, you will realize that it's what slows you down in the world and prevents you from living and enjoying life, because it means you're no longer as free and fresh as you were as a child. You're now bound to this cycle that you yourself created, and now you're trying to change the situation, but finding it difficult. That's why you keep promising yourself every year that you will transform, and it never happens. So your motive is probably based on unhappiness, or perhaps dissatisfaction, or even frustration. And instead of looking at the root cause of the problem, you look far into the future for the new image of yourself. But the problem is you're using the same old mind and identity that caused the problem in the first place to create the new. My point is, if the same self makes you unhappy today, how can you trust that it will make you happy tomorrow? It's almost an impossible mission and an endless loop. It's like if you ate bad food that made you feel unwell and you started thinking that maybe you need to eat something new to feel better. It doesn't make any sense at all. You need to throw it all up before making any move. So what's the ultimate solution? In short, you need to rediscover the real self, the one who was as free as the blue sky, so pure and crystal clear. So instead of learning new things on top of the old, learn to unlearn so you can really learn. Yes, you need to empty your head of all its content so you can receive the new. Then you can mold your mind in whatever way is needed and be able to receive the grace that every day brings, which you've been missing because you were full of the old. Then there's no need to wait for another year. Any moment can be a transforming factor. You just need to remain available and receptive, and then you can respond to life and make the best out of it, not before that. And remember, in that case, you're simply free. And you can also go back to your old patterns if you want to. The only difference is that you will then be the master, not the slave. I wish you a happy new life. Forget about years. Make one conscious, brave move once and for all, and you will never stop growing. I hope my message is received, and I thank you for your time watching this.